Number 13, test 8. So this is an exponent question, but it's also a question we can use real values on. We still have to know our stuff with these exponents, but you could also use your calculator. So I'll walk through both of those things here. What is a in terms of x, it asks. Right, a is greater than 0. Okay, we'll make a number. Let's make it something that we can take the square root of. Now, by the way, that's the whole thing here, is that 1/2 means take a square root, and a negative sign means a reciprocal. So to be clear, let's make a number like 100. So if a is 100, we have 100 to the negative 1/2 power. That's the same thing as saying take the square root. So let's deal with these one at a time. So this is equal to, first of all, we'll say 1 over 100 to the 1/2. That's the negative sign. And then that's 1 over 10. So x should be 1/10. So there's our two values. And look, of course, you could just put that into your calculator. Just pick a number. You could tell that there's square roots kicking around. It's always a safe bet to pick a number that's a perfect square. That is a number that has a nice whole number value for the square root. That's what a perfect square is. But once you've done that, you could just put this into your calculator and see what it spits out. And then what you're looking for is how do I get back to a, which is 100, when I put in 1/10 for x. Right? So then you just do that. So of course you could kind of estimate here. The square root of 1/10, definitely not going to do it. The negative square root of 1/10, no, that's not going to do it. And then you look at these two here. So C says, C says 1 over 1/10 squared. Okay, well that's 1 over 1/100th, which is equal to 100. Okay, perfect. That negative sign is not going to do us any favors in answer choice D, so it's C, right? So not a question for which picking numbers is the end-all be-all, but I will say if you have a calculator on your side and you pick values, you can do this without really understanding that 1/2 and that negative sign. If that stuff's confusing for you, stay tuned, because we are going to talk about the exponent rules in a whole nother course. But essentially, the fractional exponents, just a quick explanation here. The fractions, say you have x to the 1/2. That's equal to the square root of x to the 1. So in other words, x to the 3/2 would be equal to the square root of x cubed. And if you had, x to the 4/5, for instance, 4/5, that would be the 5th root of x to the 4th. Meanwhile, the negative signs, if you have, x to the negative 2, that's equal to 1 over x squared. And then if you have x to the negative 4, that's equal to 1 over x to the 4th. So those rules combine, and if you had x to the negative 3/7, that would be, first you might write 1, I tend to do it in steps here, 1 over x to the 3/7, and then that's equal to the 7th root of x to the 3rd, and that's, I should be clear here, this is 1 over the 7th root of x to the 3rd. There's the final answer. So, hope that makes sense, and again, that's just a little brief preview of what goes on with exponent rules, but you're able to solve this question with real values and a calculator.